Hi, it's Jordan Teen 1, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make my new True Braid Bracelet. So if you've seen my Infinite Bracelet or my Winding Road Bracelet, this uses the same concept. So you can see this has 3 different fishtails and then they form this braided pattern. You can make this bracelet either on the full-size Rainbow Loom or on the Monster Tail, and I am going to be showing it on the Monster Tail today. But if you're making it on the Rainbow Loom, you want to have your pins in line with one another, and then you would work with 6 pins in the shape of a rectangle. So we'll be doing the same thing on the Monster Tail here, and I am going to turn it sideways. I think it's a little bit easier visually to do it this way. And then as far as your bands, you're going to need probably somewhere around 240. It really depends on the size of your wrist. So I have approximately 80 of each of these 3 colors. And I have the Rainbow Loom black and teal, and then I also have yellow. So I'm going to start with my first color, and I'll do black, and I'm going to put that in the middle from the bottom to the top. And I am going to twist this. And then I'll take my next color, so I'll do the yellow, and that's going from the middle diagonally up and to the left and twist. And then with my last color, I'm going on the same center pin, the bottom, and going diagonally up and to the right and twist. And then I'm going to take another band and make a cap band on this bottom center pin. So I'm going to use black for that. So I'm just going to take it, put it on my hook, twist, and put it back on. So you have the 2 loops. It's just going to go right on the top. And now I need these lower bands to come up through. So I'm going to take my hook, and with the back of my hook I'm going to push back on the top 2 bands. Grab that next band in line. Hold this with my thumb so the cap band doesn't come off. And that first color is going over to the right. Now I'm going to go back down through from my next color, which I have the yellow, and that's going to move over to the left. And then finally I'm going to go back down through for this bottom black, and that's going to move straight up just for the moment. Now I can slide this cap band off, and then just that top band is going to move back. So now you can see we have the cap band in the center here. Next, I'm going to put 2 more layers on the same colors, and I'm going to lay them from front to back. So I'm going to do 2 yellow. And it's important when you're placing these bands on that you're keeping them in the order that you're placing them. And then as we move along with the tutorial, we're going to be doing the same thing. You want to keep them in the same order when they're crossing. And now I have 2 of the teal. And then once you have 3 of the rubber bands on, you're going to take the bottom one from all 6 of these pins. And you want to push that down. And now we're going to start our crossing pattern. So just like you would normally do in a braid when you would have 3 strands, you're always taking the outer one and moving it into the middle. So that's what we're going to be doing. And we want the outer color to always be on the outside, so that has to be on the bottom. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this center band, or I should say these 2 bands, and pull them off of that pin, and I'm going to move them straight above here. And that's just going to be a holding spot. So I'm going to start on the left, and I'm moving these yellow bands into the middle. And now the 2 black are going to come back off of that pin, and they're going to move over to where the yellow ones were. So basically we're just changing these 2 positions, but I'm always making sure that the outer band color is on the bottom, so that will show on the outside of the bracelet. So once I've crossed them, I'm going to put on a second layer, and we're going to follow the same X pattern. And since yellow's on the bottom, I'm going to put yellow on the bottom, and then black on top. So I'm doing that X, and then I want to remove the bottom rubber band from each of those 4 pins. And push down. And if you ever see when you take a band off that it looks like it's being pulled more to one side than the other, you just want to take a second and just gently pull on the other side until the bands look about even, because that's going to help it have an overall better look in the end. And now that I've put on that layer, I need to switch the back side here. So again, I need the yellow to be on the bottom, so I have to move the black first. So I'm just going to take these 2 off and I'm going to move them diagonally down and to the left. And it really doesn't matter where you move them because you're just getting them out of the way. They're not going to stay there. And now I can move the yellow over to that empty pin, and then the top 2 black here can move where the yellow was. So now once again we've just switched them, but yellow is going to be on the bottom, so we'll see that on the outside. And then the next thing we're going to do is put on 2 layers of straight bands. So we're just going to do this one at a time. So I have black on black, and then the yellow on top of the yellow. And then once you have the 3 bands on, you're just going to take the bottom one off. Just doing that for those 4 pins that we're working on. Push down, and then we're going to do this a second time. And then remove that bottom band. And push down. So that was our first cross that we did, and we moved the left side color into the middle. And then just like with any braid, we have to take the opposite side on the right here, and now that has to move into the middle. So I want the teal to be on the outside, so that one is going to be on the bottom. So I just have to free up this middle pin, so the yellow is going to come off, and it's going to go to the back as a holding spot. And now this teal can come into the middle, and then the top 2 yellow can move to that empty pin on the right. And it does look like when I move this that my teal bands got a little bit crossed over one another. So this is where I said it's important to keep them in the same order. So let me just run my hook around here to make sure that they're nice and separated. And now that they're crossed, we need to do 1 layer of crossing bands. So since teal's on the bottom, I'm going to do teal and then yellow on top of that. And then once you put that layer on, the bottom layer comes off. And again, it looks like this teal band is pulled farther on this side. So let me just take a second and try and even that out. And now we need to cross the back layers. So again, I want teal on the bottom, so I have to make a space here, take these yellow off, and I'll just pull them down and to the right. And now these teal can move over. The yellow can go where the teal were. And then once I've done that, I need to do 2 straight layers. So that's my first layer, and I'm going to take the bottom off of just these 4 pins. And then do a second layer. And then take off the bottom. And I'm pushing that down. So if you look here underneath, you can see we're starting to form our braided pattern. So now since we had the right side move in, it's time to move over to the left, and now that's going to move in. So again, we want that outer color on the bottom. So I'm freeing up this middle pin so the black can move over. And now these 2 teal are going to go where the black was. And then once we've crossed, we're going to do that one layer of X's. So black on the bottom, and then teal on top. And then we're removing that bottom layer. Pushing down. And now once we've done that, we have to cross the back side. So again, black on the bottom, so I'll just free up this middle pin. Move the black over to the right, and then the teal go in its place. And now that we have them in line with one another, we're going to do the 2 layers. So this is one, and then a second. And push down. So now we've made the left side come in, so now the right side has to come in. We're just alternating every time. So I need to free up space. And now since the yellow is on the right this time, that's moving in first. And then the 2 black are coming to the right. We're going to do our layer of an X. And then take off the bottom band. And again, I think this yellow looks a little bit pooled on that side, so I'm just going to even it out a little bit. And now since we crossed the front, we have to cross the back. So again, I need to free up this middle pin so the yellow can move over. The other one takes its place, and then we have 2 straight layers. So that's 1. And then 2. So you can see down here how it's looking. It's definitely starting to form the pattern that we want. So I am just going to fast forward here. My next layer would be the left side moving into the middle, and then after that the right side into the middle, and so on. So if you feel like you don't quite have the hang of it, you can always go back in the tutorial and follow along again. But for right now, I am going to fast forward. I now have my bracelet to the length that I'd like, and I'm ready to take it off of the loom. So I have 2 rubber bands on all of the 6 pins. So the last thing that I did was move the right side in. So the next thing I'm going to do to take it off is I'm going to take the left side and I'm going to move those bands into the middle. So I'm going to do that for the front and the back. And then I'm going to take the bottom 2 and pull them over the top. And I'm going to take the right side and I'm going to move that over to the left. And again, I'm going to take the bottom 2 and pull them over the top. I have just the black left, so I'm going to take the front bands and move them to the back. I'll take the bottom 2 and pull them over the top. So I have just the 2 black. I'm going to take this off of the loom, and I'm going to take a clip, and I'll attach these 2 black bands to the clip. I have an S clip here, but you can use whatever you have. And then on the other side, I'm going to attach it to the cap band. It should be a nice circle. And then here you have your bracelet. I hope that everyone loves their new True Braid bracelets. You can always leave me comments on YouTube and Facebook, post pictures of your creations to my Facebook page, and please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on my latest tutorials. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram, so please feel free to subscribe to those as well. Thanks for watching!